So there's a new book that came out called Battle for the Soul, and it's like sort of a behind-the-scenes 2020 election book. And man, there are some gems in there. So Crystal Ball tweeted this. In that book, Battle for the Soul, Kamala Harris is so vapid and vacuous and directionless, and she cares so little about policy that when she was already running for president, she kept referring to Medicare for all in speeches as Medicaid for all. Guys, this is 2019, 2020. Medicaid for all. Bernie popularized it. I mean, it's the slogan and the policy has existed for a very long time, but Bernie really popularized it in 2015. And in 2019, you still didn't know it was Medicare for all? What does that show? Well, it shows exactly what we already knew about Kamala Harris, and the rest of the book bears this out as well. The whole thing was about narcissism. It was an ego trip. She would do these events for president. She'd give these speeches, and 100% of the commentary would be about her. You know, her life, her story, her family, me. She cared so little about policy that it was Medicaid for all. And so what did she do? And they explain this in the book, by the way. They say she had calculated nobody's even going to support Bernie. So it's good for me to hop in early. So she was the first person to sign on to Bernie's Medicare for all bill. But it was all a show. She thought, I'll get the credibility that I need with the base. If I sign on to this, Bernie's useless anyway. He's not going to make a run at it. Of course, Bernie destroyed Kamala Harris in the race, and Kamala miscalculated. But she signed on to it as a political strategy. She didn't actually believe in it. She didn't really support it. She didn't even know it was called Medicare for all. She called it Medicaid for all repeatedly. And by the way, you ready for the scariest part? When she did this, it worked. This strategy worked. This is when she was very high in the polls. When she jumped into the race and she pretended early on, I'm totally like Bernie, except I'm a young black woman. So therefore, why don't you vote for Bernie in a better package, a young black woman package? So she had the identity angle, and then she was pretending to have the policy angle. But really, it was all a farce. It was all a farce. We also learned that her favorite line, that little girl was me, where she went after Joe Biden, totally pre-planned. Every aspect of that was they had a long debate beforehand, her and her staffers, about what to say and what to do. So in other words, everything you thought you knew about her is correct. Everything. Remember when she made her campaign about banning Trump from Twitter? And even Elizabeth Warren was like, seriously? This is your big thing? You think you're doing a gotcha of everybody else on stage by saying, I want to ban him. What about you? Directionless. And by the way, when she stopped playing that game of, I'm going to sign on to Bernie's stuff, when she realized Bernie was a real threat, she had to back away from all the stuff that she co-signed with him. And so that's when she totally tanked in the polls, because she was clearly not for Medicare for all. Again, she didn't even know it was called Medicare for all when she signed on to it. She thought it was Medicaid for all. Useless, narcissistic ego trip. She's exactly what everybody thought she was, which is why she's polling at 28%. So imagine at this crucial point in American history and world history, we have people who have the ambition to be president with none of the actual moral and ethical vision and policy ideas. That is terrifying. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.